Before we begin today's video, I'd like to give a shout out to one of our newest subscribers, Confirmed Crypt. Thank you all for subscribing, and welcome to the family. And now on with today's video. I have covered 5 members of the League of Malevolence, stat blocks that can be found in the book Wild Beyond the Witchlight. Recently, though, I have come across another evil character that sometimes works alongside Warduke. I think we should go ahead and take a look at him. Shall we begin? Greetings, my dear viewers. It is I, Drayhan, and welcome back to Dungeons & Dragons Character Conversion, where we take a look at a character from across media and drop them into Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition as they are in their original canon, and try to translate it the best we can using the Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition system, still keeping true to that character's canon. And today we have a tricky one. I would like to introduce you to Grimsword. I was walking around the comic book store, I would like to say about a year ago, and saw this action figure for this rather odd character that I have never heard of. We do not have any 5th edition material on this guy. And he just suddenly, out of the blue, gets an action figure for the current year. I mean, I could still go to a comic book store and find this guy on store shelves. So who is he? To read his flavor text, Grimsword, Evil Knight, is a mighty warrior and fierce fighter. He hopes to rule the land someday, after he defeats all his enemies in combat. Grimsword has many evil friends fighting by his side, but he cannot be trusted. He will betray or fight anyone in order to gain power. And, that's about it. We do have a stat block for him from way back in, I think it is Advanced Dungeons & Dragons. He's got a relatively decent stat block for a tutorial boss fight. And looking at what we have here, we don't have much to go off of. He's a chaotic champion, level 7 fighter, decent stats for a fighter, good strength, good dexterity, but he's awful in wisdom and charisma. And he's got a 2 in an armor class, which is good for Advanced Dungeons & Dragons. And he has a sword, a +1 energy draining sword, and his signature weapon, the flail. He also has plate mail, chain mail, a shield, and a helmet. Basic stuff that most fighters would want. But the flavor text for this stat block is the exact same as his action figure. Mighty warrior, cannot be trusted, has many evil friends, and wants to rule the land. He's basic. He's as basic as an evil fighter can be. So how can we translate this basic character that's almost not even worth a fight into 5th edition? Let's go ahead and start things off with the point buy system. Now, we're not going to be able to get the exact stats because we are going to go to level 20 here. But let's go ahead and try. We're going to go for a 15 in strength, a 13 in constitution, 14 in dexterity, and a 10 in intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. With our race, again, I could not figure out what he is since we don't have any information. But I am going to have to take an educated guess and take some creative liberties for our race. And go with the Yuan Ti. As this guy, his only other feature is that he likes snakes. I mean, it's all over his armor. His signature weapon is a snake flail. And he has a snake embroidered on his shield. Everything about him is snakes. So, with that being said, if this guy were to get updated into 5th edition, I would definitely say that he is a Yuan Ti. This will give us access to a 30-foot movement speed, dark vision of 60 feet, magic resistance, poison resilience, if we're using the updated version. We'll also have serpentine spellcasting, which uses our charisma modifier, and languages in common and abyssal. We also get an increase to our strength, constitution, and charisma using the rules from Tasha's Cauldron of Everything. Moving on to background, there were 2 backgrounds that I thought would be useful. The first was the Knight, which, yeah, he's kind of an evil knight. He just wants to rule the land. It's basic stuff that you would get as a fighter. Just about every fighter you'll play is going to be a knight. It's basic. It's not fun. You get proficiencies in history and persuasion. You get proficiency in 3 Dragon Auntie and 1 language of choice, as well as the feature of retainers. He has evil friends, so these retainers would probably be his evil friends. But I want to turn your attention to the Iron Route Bandit. This one is an interesting background, and a background that I have never used, and one that I feel would actually fit well with Grimsword, considering his need to rule the land someday. If you want to rule the land, you're going to want to have connections with evil friends in the black market, which is where we get our black market breeder. We also have proficiency in stealth, animal handling, 3 Dragon Auntie, and land vehicles, which honestly would work just fine for this character. At least gives us a little bit of flavor. And like I said, this was an interesting background, so I thought I would pick it just to add a little bit of spice. You know how to find people who are always looking for stolen animals and vehicles, whether to provide for animal pit fights or to supply some desperate rogues the means to get away faster on mount during an illegal job. This contact not only provides you with information of what such animals and vehicles are in high demand in the area, but also offers to give you favors and information if you bring such animals and vehicles to them. This is perfect plot hook material for any dungeon master to use, especially if we are going off of an evil character. It just works. Moving on to our class, of course we are going to be picking a fighter. He's an evil warrior, he is a champion fighter, blah, blah, blah. You know the works here. D10 hits die, starting hit points of 10 plus your constitution modifier, additional hit points equal to 1d10 plus your constitution modifier per fighter level. Proficiencies in all armor, shields, simple and martial weapons. Your saving throws are strength and constitution. Skills, intimidation and perception. One fighting style of choice. We're going with superior technique and we're going for the ambush. We also are getting access to second wind. Moving on to second level fighter, we are getting access to action surge. And at third level, we are getting a martial archetype. Of course, it's in the stat block that we got from Advanced Dungeons & Dragons. We're going with the martial archetype of the champion, giving us access to improved critical. At fourth level, like I said, he is depicted with his snake flail. Signature weapon, even though he has a very awesome energy draining sword that he can also use, he prefers to use his flail. So at fourth level we are going with the unearthed arcana feat of Flail Mastery. Flail Mastery will give us a +1 bonus to attack rolls we make with a flail. We get a bonus action on our turn, and we can pair ourselves to extend our flail to sweep over the target's shield, giving us a +2 bonus against any target using a shield, which is pretty good. When you hit with an opportunity attack using a flail, the target must succeed on a strength saving throw or be knocked prone. I think that's funny. Moving on to level 5 fighter, we get access to extra attack. Level 6 fighter, go ahead and increase your strength and charisma each by 1. Next is we're going to be multi-classing into rogue. Go ahead and increase your hit points by 1d8 plus your constitution modifier per rogue level. You're now proficient in deception and thieves' tools, and we're going to get expertise in deception. He is not to be trusted. He is very deceiving. We also get access to sneak attack and thieves' cant. Moving on to level 7 fighter, we are a remarkable athlete. Level 8 fighter, go ahead and get the feat of Crusher. This will increase our strength to an 18, and once per turn, when we hit a creature with an attack that deals bludgeoning damage, we get to move them 5 feet to an unoccupied space. And when we score a critical hit that deals bludgeoning damage to a creature, the attack rolls that creature makes will have disadvantage until the start of our next turn. Pair this with Flail Mastery and we have something really interesting. At level 2 Rogue, we get access to Cunning Action. Level 9 Fighter gets access to Indomitable. Level 10 Fighter gets an additional fighting style. We'll go with Dueling, since we're only using one hand for our Snake Flail. At level 11 Fighter, we have another extra attack to use, though 3 attacks per attack action. Level 12 Fighter, go ahead and increase your strength by 2 points, making it a 20. At level 13 Fighter, we get another use of Indomitable. At level 3 Rogue, we are going with the roguish archetype of Scout, giving us access to Skirmisher and proficiency in Nature and Survival. We also get access to Steady Aim. At level 14 Fighter, go ahead and increase your Dexterity by 2 points, making it a 16. Level 5 Fighter gets access to Superior Critical. Level 16 Fighter will go ahead and increase our Charisma by 2 points, making it a 14. And finally, at level 4 Rogue, go ahead and increase your Intelligence by 2 points, making it a 12. And that is all for today's video. What do you think of Grimsword, the basic evil character that just wants to rule the land? Really and truly, I wish there was more information on this guy. He looks interesting, but we have nothing besides that little bit of flavor text that were given on his initial stat block and subsequent action figures. If you have any information on Grimsword that I was not able to find, let me know in the comment section down below. And until next time, this has been Drahon. Oh, and one more thing before I go. We did hit 500 subscribers recently. Thank you all very much. I don't normally tell you all to subscribe, and I do thank you for the ones who have. Now, since we did hit our 500 subscriber benchmark, I thought I would go ahead and finally release a channel trailer for this channel. At the end of this trailer, we will be having a Q&A session. So if you have any personal questions about me or this channel, make sure to leave them in the comment sections as well with the hashtag Q. Anyway, that is all the time I have for today. Once again, thank you all for subscribing, and welcome to the family. I'll see you next time when I am online.